You know what it is. That's right. It's time to talk money with your money nerd and financial coach. Now, tighten those purse strings and open those ears. It's the Money Talk with Tiff podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Money Talk with Tiff podcast. So today I have Sammy Ellard King on the line. Now, Sammy is all the way from the UK and the founder of Up the Gains. He's a director of a hospitality business by day, and he runs Up the Gains by night. At Up the Gains, they want to change the way that you see personal finance by giving people a safe place to learn about money. And I have checked out their website, and it is very approachable. I love it. So thank you so much, Sammy, for coming on the show today.
Thanks, Tiff. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So let's just hop right into it. What made you start Up the Gains? What was your, you know what, I need to get this information out there? What prompted you to do that?
Yeah, it came really from, I've been investing for many years, and over the years, I'm sure that you can relate to this, Tiff, having your own sort of financial blog too, but you wanted to learn something, you have to go on one website, you find a phrase or a piece of that blog post or article, and then you have to go on another website to find that bit, then you get it, and it goes from there. There's so much jargon out there, and there's not really anywhere that people can come and just learn in one place, and so we really wanted to be that one-stop shop for people in the UK, but equally worldwide as well. We have an audience from all over the world, but predominantly the UK and the US. And we really want to be that place where people can come and learn. We're accessible, we're approachable, we're like you, we've been through it too. And that's where it came from. And we're sitting there in the pandemic, and I had a lot of time on my hands like we all did. And I was like, let me put myself to good use. And as you say, I run a hospitality business by day. So when my bars were all closed during the lockdown, I needed to put myself to some good, because I'm not the type of person to be sitting around doing nothing all day. I'd go mental. Yeah, that was where it came from, really. It was the drive and need to create something that helps people. And I don't necessarily know if I want to do hospitality for the rest of my life. I've done it 20 years now. I'm like, how this for me is my passion project and what I love doing. And I've been helping my mum and my sisters and my mates invest for years, and they've all had good results now. So I was like, hang on, this is a business here. And I wanted to try and take it worldwide. Yeah, here we are.
Yes, we are worldwide.
I know, I love that.
Your story sounds very similar to mine, because like when I started Money Talk with Tiff, I was in HR. Now, granted, I loved HR. It was fun, but I would do this by night, and I would have to peel myself off of the computer. When I'm sitting at work, I'm like, what time is it? Is it time? Is it time? But when I got home and I started working on this, I would be up 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, okay, Tiffany, you got to go to sleep. And I love hearing when people's passion projects turn into their main thing. And so I'm glad that you're on that journey, because it is phenomenal. I can tell you from being a little further ahead, it's awesome. That is just awesome.
I appreciate
now,
that.
I want to get into, because you said you've been investing for some time. So I just want to get into, like, why should people invest? You hear about retirement plans and things like that, but why is this so important for people to do?
Simply put, is that what you're left with at the end of the road isn't enough, and we can work as hard as we like and we can save as much money as we possibly can, but at the end of the day, it's never going to be what you're used to now. And the only real way of you being able to get to that road is to invest your hard-earned pennies, and maybe that retirement date even comes forward by quite a considerable amount of time if you invest for well and for long enough. And really, I see this as investing as part of a finance journey that everyone should be on in some capacity or not. I know the US is quite a different landscape, perhaps the UK, where we have company pensions. If you work for a corporate business, you automatically pay into a company pension, which is automatically invested for you, which helps. But if you really want to create, a lot of people out there, when the pandemic came about, everyone was like, oh my God, what if something like this happens again? Where's my security? Where am I left at? A lot of people have now started down that road because of that moment in their lives. And I think it's so important to have that backup in place and some investments and some savings. And we really see it as part of a personal finance spectrum that we take our readers and our subscribers and our listeners on all the time. We start with your debt, we start with then budgeting, we then go into investing, and we take them on a journey. And we're not a get rich quick scheme. We're a 20 20, 30 years. Let's look at your whole time horizon. Let's change your life as quickly as we can. Of course, everyone wants to be rich tomorrow, but it doesn't work that way. So that's really important for us. We're not by Bitcoin, we're by the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index. We're people that don't want to learn about the stock market too deeply. Buy some index funds, dollar cost average, which is investing the same amount each month, same time, and you're going to see massive results over sort of 10 years plus. And it's been proven time and time again. The stock market is designed to go up. It's not designed to stay down forever. It's designed to go up, and it will. And if you have a long enough time horizon, then you're going to be a winner at the end of the day.
Hey, it's Tiffany. Are you interested in starting a podcast? Well, you can get up to 2 months of free podcasting service from Libsyn with the code MONEYTALK. Get your show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify anywhere you want. Get critical stats to help you grow. Find all the tools and support you need to sound your very best. And you can even do video. Really bring your podcast to life with Libsyn. You can use code, again, MONEYTALK, to get 2 months of free podcasting service. This is what I use to get my podcast to your listening ears. Enjoy. Absolutely. There's no way you can fail. Now,
it's mental. They don't teach us this in schools. It's wow. It's insane.
So let me ask you, so you mentioned dollar cost averaging. Now, if people were listening to this and they're just like, I just don't have the money to invest, like, I just can't do it. I don't know where I'm pulling the money from, things like that. What are some ideas or tips that you can give them to get started?
That's a great question. That's a really great question. To be honest with you, anyone can invest, and the change in technology these days has allowed people to enter the market for as little as $1 in some different apps out there that facilitate that. And I'm sure someone has $1 to spare. And if you don't, then I'm sorry to hear that. And I hope that we could probably look at creating a budget for you that could then look at cost saving exercises within that budget. So budgeting is key. I know it's not the funniest thing to do and sit down and look at where the hell you're spending and how much you spent on your Starbucks last month or Uber. But, if you can then, so let's say, for example, you spent $150 on Uber last month and you bring that down to $75, invest that $75 that you save. That could be a thing. If it's not going to massively impact your life, or you're not deep in debt, you're just getting by, living paycheck to paycheck each month, you could just invest that $75 that you saved and save yourself an Uber ride here or there, or ride share with a friend, or there's all these different things you can do. And I guarantee you, there's not one person in this world, not you, not I, if we did a budget, there's not something in there that we could probably go, oh, I don't really need that, or I didn't need to make that financial decision. But we all do it. We're humans, right? We see something flashy and sparkly in the shop and we buy it. It gives us that dopamine hit that we need as humans to get by. It's totally fine. I wouldn't say go cold war on it and don't enjoy yourself ever and at all. But there's little things and little moments you can do throughout your life that you can save on. And the more you invest and the heavier that you do invest, you'll find you create yourself financial freedom and time freedom as it goes by. So, yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I tell my audience all the time, my weakness is technology. So if I see a shiny new tech something, I want to buy it, and I will, which is crazy. But I wanted to hit on, because you said that there are a lot of apps and stuff out there. Yeah. What apps are your favorite, whether they're UK based, US based, what have you? What are your favorite investing apps?
It's a good question. So I actually use one that's available in most states in the US, which is eToro. So I love the social aspect of investing, especially with what we do. We like talking to people and discussing different tactics and what the hot stocks are right now, etc. And I enjoy that chat. And eToro has a social platform built in within it. And then the second side of it, which I really liked when I first started, is you can copy the most popular or the most highest performing investors. So for example, if you had $100, you could literally copy exactly what they're doing, and it will just automatically change as they buy and sell for you. So you don't even need to touch it. And you're basically following the best performing investors on the platform and that do really well. So over time, it's quite a good little tool, I think. So yeah, I really like that. They're quite similar to Robinhood if you haven't seen it, but Robinhood I worry about a little bit because of the gamification side of, hey, you just bought your first stock. And I'm not really a big fan of that because it can get a little bit like almost gambly in a way. So you have to have a little bit about self-discipline, which can be hard for people. eToro is amazing, and I used to use another app in the UK called Wombat, because they make these portfolios for you. So you can then, they have, instead of it being like the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index, for example, they might call the thing the Adventurer, and then within that they'd have adventure stocks, or they'd have the tech, and it would have Apple and those types of things within it. So you can base it on who you are as a person a little bit more, which I quite like. So I'm quite a techie person like you, so I like investing in tech, and I always tell people that's the best thing you should invest in. Invest in what you own and what you buy, because you're the best investor in that product. You're buying it yourself, so it makes sense if you own it in your stock profile as well. So
Absolutely. Now, see, I don't know why I asked this question, because I just prefaced by saying that I'm a tech nerd. And so now I'm like, oh, I want to try this. But it does sound very interesting, especially you said it was called eToro.
eToro. Yeah.
eToro,
Check out eToro.
yeah.
They're really cool. They're in most states in the US now. They started coming into the US about a year ago, but they've been making some good headway in most US states now.
That's awesome. I'm definitely going to check both of those out, even though Wombat's probably just in the UK, but I'm gonna check it out regardless. And then also, I just want to add on, there's one that I use sometimes for research, which you might be interested in, and that one's called TradingView. So TradingView has like the social aspect to it. The only difference though, you can't trade within the platform. So it's like solely for research. But I do like that, like the social aspect, like what are other people doing? And you can also see how they're analyzing the charts and stuff like that. So also it's good. Yeah. Also it's good for people trying to learn like technical analysis and things like that. You can see what other people are doing, how they're interpreting the graphs and things like that. So anyway, just one that you can look into.
Thank you. I'll take that nugget away. Excuse me. I've seen TradingView a couple of times. I've actually used their free version of the charts because they're brilliant. And I use their RSI to check when I'm actually going to buy something or not. So yeah, I love it.
Yes. Awesome. Now, I think that's a great way to wrap up. And if you all did not catch all of those apps and different resources, we'll definitely have that in the show notes for you. So don't worry if you're driving or working and you don't have time to like actually go to it right now. You can always check it out in the show notes. Now, Sammy, if people were interested in finding out more about you or your platform, where could they find you?
So we are upthegains.co.uk, or you can be Up the Gains Money on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all of that jazz. Yeah, come say hi. We love chatting to people, hearing their stories. And if someone's got a good new side hustle that we've not learned about yet, like we're all ears, man, yeah, come say hi.
Yes. And y'all, please check out Sammy. I looked at his website and it's so well laid out and it looks very approachable. It has some cartoony graphics. It's really cool. So you definitely want to check that out. And I'll have all of those links in the show notes as well. So don't worry if you didn't catch that. Thank you so much, Sammy, for coming on the show today.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Tiff. It's been great.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening, joining, and being a part of the Money Talk with Tiff podcast this week. You can check Tiff out every Thursday for a new Money Talk podcast. But if you just can't wait until next week, you can listen to previous podcast episodes at moneytalkwitht.com or follow Tiff on all social media platforms at Money Talk with T. Until next time, spend wise by spending less than you make. A word to the money wise is always sufficient.